Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Wednesday morning, August 2nd, and it's a little bit after 6, and tea kettle's whistling for my second cup of coffee. I'll get back with you in a minute and tell you a little bit about the morning and then what happened last night. It's not every morning that Mother Nature gives you a camp spot where they even give you a table to set your coffee cup. Let me give you a quick pan around this morning. It's a beautiful morning. A lot of times when I first night out, I go on a trip, I don't sleep very good, but I slept like a rock last night. And it's 58 degrees in the van when I got up this morning, so the temperature was just about perfect. And pan around to the woods. Hopefully, I forgot to warn our forest friends that I was filming, but hopefully they'll get it figured out. Kevin and Chris are stirring over there. I'm not out to our chairs yet, but I'm going to get over there here pretty quick. So, be back with you here in a second. Well, we came over here to check on the gift stump. Now, Kevin and Chris put donuts out there last night and nobody took them. So, we walked over here this morning to take a quick look. There's Kevin, and give you an idea roughly how tall the gift stump is. This is the same one that I talked about in my gifting video where we had the video about the plate. This is the gift stump where that happened at. So, as you can see, nobody took our donuts last night. You can see, give a quick pan around here. You can see this is pretty squatchy looking country in here. Once again, I didn't warn them that I was going to start filming, but they probably understood when they heard me talking. We're going to head back over. Here comes Chris. We're going to head back over to the camp, and then they're going to tell us a little bit about what happened last night. So I'll be back with you in a minute.
Okay, so last night Chris and I decided to come over here to the gift stump and put out a few donuts, and just a little farther back over here, it's like the entire atmosphere in here changed. You know, kind of like an energetic charge to the area. And so we come over and we put the donuts up, and I said a couple things to them about, you know, thank you for coming to visit us, and if you would like the donuts, they're there for you, and started to walk back, and I got right about here, walking back, and I got the mind speak, don't leave. And so I told Chris, I said, just told him not to leave. And so we turned around, and this whole area in here, you know, probably a 40 foot or 40 yard area was just full of energy. And
yeah, it was not, I won't say oppressive, but it was very distinctive. Like, it was like we crossed a line into kind of like maybe, like Kevin said, maybe a 40-yard circumference around here. And Kevin said when he closed his eyes, he just felt like, you know, his reality kind of shifted a little bit. I felt like when I closed my eyes, it was almost like a vertigo, but not with a nausea. You know what I mean? It was just, everything was just kind of different, imbalanced almost. But it was powerful, very powerful.
Yeah, and but down here next to the gift stump, just to the left side of it, there was a shimmering image, just a little taller than what the actual stump is, but it was there, and you know, farther back in the tree line, you know, saw a couple twinkle lights, but just the energy was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that's pretty much for it here. You know, we ended up walking back to the camp, and, yeah, we'll talk about, you know, what we experienced and what we saw over there here in a minute.
Okay, we'll be back with you. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened last night, but before I do that, I want to show you this tree over here. That's a blue spruce tree. And it's really hard to tell the actual size of it on camera, but that's a big old tree. And what's interesting about it, a couple things, and I don't know if you can see it on camera real well, but years ago that thing broke off on the side, and then it kind of sprouted a whole new tree from a limb that grew on up there. And that's probably why they never cut it down for lumber. But right there, it's got like a 90 degree to the right and then another 90 degree to the left going straight up. But that thing is probably 30 inches across. But look at the pile of chewed up pine cones at the base of this thing. Once again, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but that thing is absolutely huge. I don't know how many generations of squirrels been living in that tree to do that, but that's pretty amazing. But what I want to do, I'm going to talk a little bit with, there's the van over there. I want to talk a little bit with Kevin and Chris about what they experienced last night. So, Kevin, you want to tell a little bit about what happened?
Yeah, well, it was, it was starting out as a pretty typical night for this particular area. And the family group that's in this area, they do things a little differently than in some of the other areas that we go to. And you get a lot more physical, visual things happening here. And what I mean by that is, not so much of the shimmering images, even though we do get that in this area. More solid, actual seeing things moving around in full solid. And, so on the other side of Chuck's van, there's a log laying down over there. And, so the beginning part of the night, I swore that I'd seen something moving around over there 2 different times before I'd said anything. And what it appeared to me to be is that somebody had moved from the view of where Chuck's van is over to this log, but then it kept popping up his head over the top of the log, and Chuck will swing over there. You can see that big downed log on the other side of front of Chuck's van. It was back over there, and but I kept seeing the head pop up over the top of it. And, so that's how the night kind of started. And then back behind his van, I was seeing a couple things over there. And, plus we were seeing twinkle lights and movement, more off to my 12 o'clock position. And there's a big, one of the big, huge pine trees that's about 30 yards directly in front of me. I saw an individual step out from behind it on the right-hand side.
That's that tree right in the center of the frame next to that jagged, broke-off snag there. Go ahead, Kevin.
But, yeah, so I saw him step out from there, and I got a pretty decent zap from him. And I don't know if he was right behind the tree or just farther back into the tree line. But as I'm, telling the guys what I'm seeing, and then I got really good eye glow from back there. The green eyes lit up.
I saw that.
And, and just all kinds of movement around. Right over here, probably about 20 yards on the other side of the tree that he's just showing you with the pine stuff underneath it. From the squirrels, could hear footsteps over there. And, Chris was like, "Are you hearing that?" And I was, "Yeah." So it just a lot of stuff like that last night, but it was really cool. Yeah, so I'll hand it over to Chris. And
I agree with Kevin about. So I've been to Campo Bonito before, but I've never slept here. I've never camped here and sat out, and that covers pretty much all bases that we go to, in my experience. And Kevin's right. Every one of these locations has an individuality or a uniqueness about them that differs from the other locations that we go. I always think there's a different energy. Like if we go to Squatch Camp, that's got like a sacred energy to it. Crazy Town's got more of a mischievous energy to it, a little bit lighter. And the phenomenons, there's commonalities amongst it, but there's unique differences. And I'll agree with Kevin. I think there was more physical interaction going on here than I've seen at any of the other locations. I at one point last night I had gotten up to relieve myself, and there's a kind of an open meadow beyond our campsite where we have our trailer parked, and I watched a being move at pretty good speed, but not like lightning fast. Like these things can move really quick, like in a flash. And this one went slowed down enough. I watched it run from left to right across the field, So, and it was a super moon last night, so the ability to see better, it was there. The whole meadow was lit up, and I got a pretty good look at it. Again, the shadowy figures. I also saw the eye glow that Kevin was seeing out in front of us at my 12 o'clock, and it wasn't. Again, there was a difference than in other places that I've experienced as to how they interact. I had a couple light zaps and tingles throughout the course of the day and into the evening last night, and there was also some interesting vocals that were going on. At one point, we were getting something was barking or yelping. When I was sitting here, it sounded almost like a bird, but a really loud, big bird. And then when I went over there, the effect changed to, it almost sounded more like a yelp, but it wasn't like a canine-like yelp. It was a vocalized, and we were responding to it and mimicking it back, and it was coming back at us while we were doing that. That went on for a good 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, the whistling back and forth.
Yeah,
it was kind of like a whistle.
And then also at one point off to my 3 o'clock over where those aspens are, there was definitely something walking around on 2 steps back there. Again, another physical sound and a physical thing, as opposed to when these guys are in their more of an energy state, and there was some of that cloaked, for lack of a better term. I hate that term, but
See, now
phenomenon going on, and it wasn't as much like the twinkle light manifestation stuff that was going on, but not in a high degree. Yeah. It was different. Hilltop's a little heavier in that department, but a lot of the same. There were commonalities amongst it all. I mean, it's the same phenomenon, just different areas of it, and some kind of manifest differently, I think, in all the different places in a unique way. We like to say, oh, it's perhaps a different family. We're all just guessing. I mean, is it a different family group? We think so. I mean, we've had enough contact and communication, especially at every one of these locations, to have an outline of perhaps what their family hierarchies look like and how they interact and how they respond. But it's it's a different vibe here. Definitely, it was cool. It was a great night. So that's pretty much enough out of me.
And then the gift stump is about probably 150 yards over that direction. And last night Kevin walked over there to check on the gift stump and had one run away from you, right?
Yeah.
Saw one run away. So now, as far as, I didn't really have a lot of activity last night. I never really got any solid zaps or even any good solid tingles, but these guys both had, they had a little bit more activity than I did. I kind of felt a little bit like the odd man out. But what was kind of interesting last night is when I went to bed, I slept like a log last night. Only had to get up once during the night to do my business. But neither one of these guys slept real good. So it's like somebody was messing with them all night. So we don't know if that's what happened or not, but that's what it seems like. So let me pan back around. You can see the meadow over there, back behind those 2 trees. And you can also see, Kevin's been camping for a long time, and he's got this camping thing figured out. That's the cook tent and the truck, and they actually brought Wayne side by side with them this time. So they just have something to run around with while they're here. But I think with all that, I'm going to wrap this one up. This has gone for a while. And so as I always do, I'll tell you to take care of each other and love each other and take care of yourself. This is a beautiful area. We're absolutely blessed to be able to come out and do this. And I'll catch you on another one here pretty quick. I'm going to be going over to Hilltop and meeting with another one of our people named Paul. And I'll get back with you again pretty quick on that. So for right now, give me one more shot of the van sitting over there, and I'll just tell you peace out.